All right. Ever wonder how I actually get these vlogs all planned out and go from, random idea while half asleep to an actual YouTube upload? Yeah, me too sometimes. So this is a little behind the scenes action for, the gearheads, the geeks, the creative chaos monsters, and, spreadsheet nerds alike. So I've got this queued up so you guys can see how I do some of my planning here. So right now, this is just a note that I did from something I tried yesterday. And I just went into ChatGPT and said, I created a whole temporary chat with it. And I said, hey, I want to get into content creation, focusing on camera gear and cinematography and editing. I have little experience. I think it would help to get some experience in front of the camera. So let's start a 30-day vlogging challenge. Help me plan out all 30 days with ideas, light scripting, and such. Okay, and then ChatGPT comes back with this whole thing like, hell yes, John, I love this for you. And it comes up with this entire kind of, plan that we can do. So it's setting up a whole 30-day vlogging challenge, talking about growing camera skills, building editing flow, and sneaking in some gear cinematography focus without making it too overwhelming. Now, being one of my number 23 in right now, I can tell you that this can be quite overwhelming. So, but this is just an example of how you could do this yourself. This is not what I originally set up or anything like that, but this is one of the things that you can actually do here. So, it talks about, the vibe here, keeping each vlog 3 to 8 minutes max, so it makes it a little bit easier. You want to shoot and edit every day if possible. I can tell you, and I'll talk about this in a future one where, it's really difficult to do every single day. So if I had to do this over again, I would do it every other day, where I would actually film one day and then edit on the next, kind of break it up. I think it really depends on how busy your schedule is and how well you can handle all this. So it's going to go into some light scripting, but here you can see where it breaks down our different days that we have here. So, hey, all right, day one, we're going to talk about intro. Why am I doing this? We're going to throw in, we're going to throw in a little bit of light scripting, and it gives you some basic light ideas to use for the day there. What's in my bag for day 2, a day in my life, day 3. And you can see all the different ones that are in here. You can even do some cinematic challenges here where we're looking at like day 16, doing a whole coffee sequence. It's one of those things that a lot of people recommend if you're doing like your first cinematic thing is to do one of these. I'll do one at some point here. And each one of these could be a bit challenging. I haven't gone through every single one of these, but these actually look like some pretty interesting ones. And I might actually steal some of these to use for some, future videos to actually do. And you don't have to do every single one of these. You could come in and say, hey, I like numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I don't like 6. Let's tweak 7 a little bit. Let's explore something a little bit different for 12. The whole point of this is not for it to write everything for you or do anything for you. It just kind of helps you guide along to where you want to be. You've got to decide what's going to be best for you and what's going to fit best with your vibe and the direction that you want to head with things. Also, you have to, think about how much of this that you can actually take on and handle in your challenge. You got to decide if this is something you've got time to do every single day. Okay, great, take it on. If it's something you've got to break up, you can do that. And you could look at some of these vlogs and say like, hey, some of these are a little bit too lengthy and a little bit too difficult for me to do. But either way, this kind of breaks down, the different days that you can do. And, it's got some bonus tips down here. You can try different aspect ratios and all these kind of things. You don't necessarily have to overcomplicate and do all these. These are just ideas that you can actually use. Now, you'll notice that, it says, hey, ChatGPT says, hey, do you want me to bundle this up into like a printable checklist or a Notion template? And I went ahead and told it, yes, why don't you go ahead and send that over to me? So you can see right here, it actually exports a CSV file, something you can use in Excel, where it breaks it down like what your days are. These are all your days that are inside of here. These are your dates that you're doing everything on. You can change these around, what your topic is for each one, and what your prompt and script is for each day inside of this. Now, you could actually go ahead and just operate off of this spreadsheet if you wanted to. But if you want to do, something a little bit similar to what I have done, I've actually built out an entire database inside of Notion that allows me to do this. So this is a good, sneak peek at what my actual Notion templates look like over here. So you can actually see, what I've got set up on each day. So you can see these are the ones that I've actually completed. These are the ones that are still in progress. And these are the ones over here that I have not started yet. I haven't gotten into scripting or doing anything on those, but we can just go ahead and pick like a random one that I have here, ones that are completed. I'm sure I can organize this to make this a little bit easier to go through. But let's look at, vlog number 11, some things I didn't expect to learn from daily vlogging. So if I click on this, it's going to bring up, these are my published dates. This is when I completed it. These are kind of the skill focuses that I was looking at for that particular one. And these are all things that I worked with ChatGPT to help design. ChatGPT didn't necessarily write everything in here. It still uses my input to kind of guide it. You can look at what it kind of offers up to you and say, hey, I'd like to explore this a little bit more. While we're talking about that, let me add in this subject here because I'd like to talk about this subject in there, and it'll help just kind of like write it a little bit. So, you've got a whole script scaffold that you can design that gives you kind of an intro, some of your talking points that you do on here. And you can actually see where I've done some of my own notes inside of here. These are all very brief script scaffolds. You can see, this is from my intro to my outro. There's not a lot of text here. So, and that is also because I have learned that for myself, that doing a whole scripted thing does not work well for me. Now that might actually work in the future if I'm doing tutorial videos and there are specific things I want to talk about and scripts to go off of. But I have found, for me, the best thing to do is actually have some talking points, and I might have some one-liners or some little quips that I want to put in there, but I've got to understand what it is I want to talk about so that way I can riff and actually go off of that. So yeah, you can see like the way this is all planned out on how I actually do that. So I can go in and I can make different edits here. You can even do little B-roll things. You can set this up the way you want. Notion is free to use for this kind of thing. You can even see now that I've started to do in my more recent videos, I'll show you down here. Let's look at, 21. I have a problem with gear. So you can talk about all the different, things that I have inside of here. And now I can actually get it to help me write my actual YouTube description for that video, as well as coming up with thumbnail concepts. So far, I'm still just really lightly exploring thumbnails, and I haven't dived in too much on trying to figure out which thumbnail creators or editors I want to work with. I do have some experience with Photoshop, so I've been able to use my experience with that to kind of tweak some of these on my own because I haven't liked what the thumbnail editors are doing. And this one does not show it, but let's show one that actually does have it in here. But I can actually, pardon me one second, I'm going to pull this up. So here I can actually save, so this is my last video that I did, which was the vlogging in public. So if you look inside of here, you can actually see like I actually have the thumbnails attached inside of here. So if I want to go back and look at this later on, this is actually all saved inside of Notion, inside the template. So it just allows me to organize everything and put everything together. Now this is just for my vlogging challenge here, but I've also got different things set up for doing DaVinci Resolve training, things that I'm going to be working on in DaVinci Resolve, which I'm going to be exploring a lot more once I'm done with this challenge. I've got some different video training on different things I want to work with. I have some video project ideas. These are all things that I've added in and I'm going to start exploring here at some point. And you can see all the different ones that I have lined up here on the side. So this is really how I just kind of like plan everything out and put it all together before I take it in and edit and do everything like that. I'm still tweaking things here and trying to figure out what works for me, but right now this is working really fantastic for me. So I would advise you to try to explore and see what things like ChatGPT can help you organize and put all these thoughts together to make everything a little bit more coherent and a little easier to follow. I tweak these all the time. It guides me in the right direction, but it's guiding me in the right direction using what I already want to do, what I already have, in my knowledge base of wanting to try here. So yeah, these are different things that I use when I'm just trying to, tweak and move things around. I change things around in here all the time. As a matter of fact, like when you do actually get down to filming day, things just change. So, this I can go in, I can use it from my mobile phone as well. And I can go in there and I can actually, just kind of rearrange things or change things as I need to, or, I don't have to go off of this. This is just scripting ideas or bullet points for me to go off of. And, that doesn't mean I'm necessarily locked in to doing what it says inside of here. So, with that, the trick isn't making it perfect, it's making it possible, then maybe a little pretty. So that's really how I plan my vlogs, or at least how I pretend to plan them. I encourage you to comment, tell me, how you're planning things, or if this is something that will work for you. I could actually go into, a way to design this from the ground up. I'm not heavily experienced in Notion, but enough that I could help design something like this and show you guys like a tutorial video on how to actually take that file from ChatGPT and build your own templates and make this a little bit easier. So if you want a deeper dive into that or my gear setup, drop a comment or send me caffeine. Both are appreciated. So yeah, that's it, guys. So vlog number 23 is done. One of the things that I have thought about is these last, 6 vlogs that I've got to do, and I've decided that I kind of, today's Thursday, I need to take a bit of a break for the weekend. I have so much stuff going on with work that I cannot ignore, so I'm probably going to take a break for the weekend, and I'll pick up vlog 24 on Monday, because I have off Monday and Tuesday, so I'll dive a little bit more into some of these, because my last 5, 6 are a little bit more involved that I want to put some more thought into, and they're not just quick run and gun ones. Just bear with me. I'm going to skip a couple of days here because I do need to focus on some other things. Other than that, vlog 23 is done. I'll see you for 24 on Monday. All right? Peace.